My husband, Sir Adrian Stone, was the famed young general of Stonehaven, and we shared a harmonious bond. Our initial wedding was rushed, interrupted by urgent military duties. In the 3rd year of our marriage, he suddenly decided to make up for it with a grand celebration. Elara, I vow never to fail you in this life, and I wish to declare our love to the world. Everyone spoke of how perfect our match was, and it was widely known that, despite our years together, Adrian had never taken another wife or mistress. A few days before the wedding, I secretly saw the doctor and found out I was 3 months pregnant. I planned to surprise Adrian with the news during the wedding banquet. That day, with thousands of doves released into the sky and the hall filled with distinguished guests, Adrian, dressed in a deep red ceremonial robe, walked slowly towards me, his hand reaching out as he smiled warmly. Today, before all these esteemed guests, I pledge eternal devotion to my wife, Lady Elara Stonemore. From this day forth, I shall never forsake you. The banquet was a carefully orchestrated affair, aimed at furthering his career and prestige. Since it was all prearranged, I remained calm, playing my part. After the ceremony, as we sat down, I put on a serious face. "Honey, there's something I need to tell you," I said. He immediately straightened up, his expression turning serious as he leaned in. "What is it, sweetheart?" His genuine concern was so endearing that I couldn't help but burst out laughing. At that moment, the stage curtains suddenly opened, revealing a dancer in an aquamarine gown with a veil covering half her face. Her eyes, framed by a cascade of pearls, sparkled with a captivating allure. She danced gracefully, her flowing dress moving in sync with the music, her movements fluid and smooth. I noticed Adrian's expression shift from surprise to something deeper, his gaze locked on the dancer, unblinking. After the performance, the dancer cast a lingering glance back at the audience before retreating backstage. Adrian and I followed her. His face was tense, his lips pressed into a thin line. "What are you doing here?" he demanded. To my surprise, the woman knelt down gracefully, presenting Adrian with a letter, her gaze as pitiful as a doe's. "After all these years, I wish to deliver this letter to you in person, General, to find peace in my heart." "You know her?" I asked in confusion. Adrian quickly explained that her name was Seraphina Dewhurst, a woman he had known back when he was still a nobody. Now, she was the most famous courtesan of Moonrise Manor in the capital. Her voice quivered. "I heard about your wedding and signed up to perform just so I could see the love you share with Lady Elara." She glanced at me, and in that brief moment, I saw something in her eyes. Envy, resentment, and something else I couldn't quite put my finger on. Before I could even wrap my head around it, Adrian, clearly exasperated, snapped, "Miss, we were nothing more than passing acquaintances. The world is big. There's no reason for you to cling to me any longer." The woman's shoulders sagged, and she suddenly burst into tears. "I have no one else, General. I just want to stay by your side. I'd gladly marry you, even as a lowly concubine with no title." My fears were confirmed. A wave of dizziness hit me, and I instinctively grabbed my maid's hand for support. But Adrian, usually so perceptive, didn't notice my distress. His gaze stayed locked on the woman as he said calmly, "Seraphina, don't degrade yourself. There's no need to sacrifice your dignity for me.